today we're going to compare the PRO2 with the PRO3. So I'll create a basic sort of rhythmic pulsing patch. So I've selected a basic program, nothing going on, standard. What wave have we got? We've got a sawtooth, and I'm going to change that initially. In fact, yeah, all the other ones, all the other oscillators, oh, that one's on as well. Let's turn that one off. So oscillator 1, I'm going to set that to a triangle. And, oops, sorry, triangle. And then, yeah, just go with the basic triangle wave. And also, just so I'm using both an analog style oscillator and the digital oscillator, on the next oscillator I'm going to use a super saw, which, there you go, super saw. Turn its output level up, and I'm going to also then turn up the shape mod, which then brings in obviously more saws with a bit of detune, and it sounds great. Okay, so that's nice and simple. Then I'm going to use a standard low pass filter. I'm not going to use the state variable filter on this one, but I'm going to set that reasonably low. I'm not going to use any of the envelope for this one, but I will route. Let's go set that 0. Come on, go to 0, you little bugger. It doesn't want to go to 0. That's as good as close to 0. Okay, and then I'm going to set the LFO to sample and hold type waveform, and I'm going to assign that. Let's just use LFO 4, and I'm going to assign that to the filter cutoff. Now you notice that the PRO2 has 4 LFOs, which is really handy. So I'm going to set the shape of this one to sample and hold. There you go, to random, and I'm going to then set the destination of this one. In fact, if I just say so, if I hit the assign source, hit LFO 4, and then assign destination, and then wiggle the cutoff, and then I can whack that up. So you've got to give it a bit more release on the amp envelope. And then I'll just increase the amount. So simple. And then just to give it a bit more interest, I'll add a bit of delay. So I'm going to use the bucket brigade delay, which is one of 4 different delays you've got on the PRO2, and set the time to something sort of in between. Give it an amount, some feedback. And that's a bit of a mess, so if I sync this to, say, a quarter dotted, and then I of course also sync the LFO, and I can sync that to, say, a quarter note. Maybe increase that a bit. That's better. And then I can speed the whole thing up using the BPM. So let me just check the levels of these. Output level for that one. Okay, probably need to bring that up a bit. Bring that one up to 100 and bring that one up to what do you say, 80. And just to give it even more bottom end, I'm going to bring in a sub oscillator as well. Oh, lovely. Oh, feel that. So oscillator 1, so we'll set to a set that to a triangle waveform. Oscillator 3, in fact, we'll go and oscillator 1, let's set a level about 100. Oscillator 3, let's set it to 70 or 80, and then we'll set the shape to supersaw. And then we're going to set the filter to probably set it to about there, and then I'm going to assign LFO3 this case, and I'm just going to hit destination and go to cutoff. Let's set the amount, and then set the frequency. In fact, we'll synchronize that one as we did with the last one. So to 8, here we go, and then I'm going to set it to sample and hold. So similar sound, give it a bit more release. Let's see what the BPMs are. I'm synced to an external clock, so I'll turn that off in the MIDI settings. Sync mode off. So it was 136 on the other one, so similar. So let's go. A bit low, sounds quite nice. And then we'll add a bucket brigade delay, similar kind of thing. We'll synchronize that as well. Put 8 quarter triplets. Bring it down the mix a bit. Feedback. Okay, let's up the feedback a bit on the delay. So you notice with the 4-pole, the resonance is a little bit more subtle on the 4-pole to the ladder, which is lovely. Sounds great. Now we don't have a sub oscillator dedicated on this one, so if we go into, if I show parameters and shape 1, oscillator 1, so there is no dedicated sub oscillator, but I can use oscillator 2, which is another oscillator, to actually give me a lower one. So if I was to actually set that to 1 up, if I take show off there, set that 1 up again, and come down here, now I can actually select oscillator 2, put that up, select it down, go for a triangle wave shape. So that's giving you a bit of girth there. And maybe I'll turn the amount of that LFO down a bit. Sounds pretty good. So there's a similar sound made on a Pro 3. Pretty simple. I think I prefer the 4-pole for this one. It's got more